Now, I believe I'm the only one that's watched this movie on the panel. I don't think, Mike, have you watched Rebel Moon?
No, I'm trying to not do it.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I'm the only one that watched this because I apparently hate myself. So, you know, fuck myself, I guess. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? I hate myself. So I watched this movie and I've done my review of it. I understand what they were trying to do. It just wasn't very good. And it's difficult to really, without you guys having watched it, I mean, it's just me saying it, but take what I'm saying as true, right? The comparison to Star Wars actually isn't the Star Wars comparison isn't the most egregious comparison or the most egregious thing they ripped off. They ripped off pretty much the entirety of Warhammer 40k.
Wow.
So it's called the Imperium. You know, the Imperium of Man in Warhammer 40k. Well, in Zack Snyder's world, it's the Imperium. Yep. Just stretching out through the galaxy, claiming worlds. Yep. The Imperium. Yep. I mean, even down to the banners and the armor style. Yep. Imperium. Yep. Very much. Yep. Very much Marines. Yep. Very much down, even to the guns. Yep. Even to the robot called a Mechanicus. Yep. Mechanicus. Yep. Took that right out of it.
Can I give everybody like a news flash here real quick?
Zack
Snyder has never made an original film. In fact, the only two original films he's ever made were Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon. And I think it could be argued that those are so inspired by how many other genres. In fact, a lot of people thought his Army of the Dead was a sequel to his Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah,
and that wasn't the case.
Well, I've got to interject real quick because it's important to note is that although I'm saying he's ripped off Warhammer, yes, Warhammer ripped off loads of other things. Warhammer was heavily inspired by 2000 AD.
I forgot Sucker 100%. Punch, but yeah, that's like anime shit.
Yeah, so it's heavily inspired. You know, Warhammer was heavily inspired by 2000 AD. But the problem is when you're ripping something off, you've got to be better than the thing you're ripping off.
Yeah.
You don't rip off something and produce a substandard product at all. Because then you're going to be compared to the thing you've just stolen from. And then it looks very, very terrible. Looks real bad. But anyway, the co-writer of this has come out and spoken about the negative reception as well as the derivative nature of the film. And it's comical. So it's in an interview with Variety, Kurt Johnstad was asked about the Star Wars comparisons, which I've sort of gone over and said that's not, massively accurate because it's derivative of other things. So he says it's impossible not to be compared to Star Wars. They're very different worlds. We're trying to do very different things. I have a great respect for George Lucas and everything he's done for the past 50 years. He's changed the shape of this entire town. So we can't say that we haven't been affected or haven't absorbed some of those lessons and cinematically those experiences. It'd be false. We'd be lying. The idea is, giving off our own opportunity, just like George was a complete rebel in this town, an iconoclast, how can we do the same thing in our time? That isn't a written mandate, but it's just like, how can I write the most provocative, inspiring, interesting, twist and turn kind of story? George used Campbell's hero's journey, as did we. This is Cora's story, and she's at the heart of the movie. Well, wait fucking 1 second there, son. It's compared to Star Wars because in an interview, Zack Snyder literally came out and said, yeah, I pitched this as a Star Wars movie. So that's why it's being compared to Star Wars. You'd do well and you'd be wise to remember that. That's why it's being compared. Because it wouldn't be compared if that wasn't the case. Secondly, provocative, inspiring, interesting, twist and turn kind of story. The only twist and turns that happened was me twisting and turning in my chair, fucking bored as dog shit watching this thing. Honestly, provocative on the degree that I wanted. It was provoking me and my boredom so much that I wanted to turn the movie off. Inspiring, it inspired me to want to get up and turn the movie off. Interesting, yeah, it made me interested at looking at my phone at what else was going on in the world. The movie was poo.
Ouch.
Anyway, there you go.
Tough crowd.
And did you see that they're selling the director's cut of this now? They're trying to make people watch. They're trying to be like Zack Snyder's director's cut of Rebel Moon's a different movie. Yeah, I'm sure, because it's got a half hour of fucking slow-mo added to it. No one wants to watch that.
You think only a half an hour of slow-mo?
Oh no, it's like an hour longer. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And it's an R-rated movie.
So it's 45 minutes of slow-mo.
I don't care. There was no fighting in this bloody movie anyway. It was boring. Anyway. So he was asked about the negative reviews, right? And he goes, I don't read the reviews. I never have. You probably should. You'd be better. Critics have a job to do. We live in a democracy. Everyone gets to vote. If people watch the film, they'll have an experience and they will either enjoy it or they won't. It's flavors of ice cream. In my career of 20 years doing this, reviews have never equated to performance. A movie will either perform or it won't. People will either love it and be connected to it. And I think that's what this movie has, is an emotional drive and a core and characters that are vulnerable. You're not writing fucking... It's not Shawshank Redemption, mate.
Wow.
It's not Citizen Kane. And of course, there's sequence and action and visual. That's basically all it was. Sequence, action, and visual. There was no story. It's a magnificent looking film in parts. But I think that at the core of it, it's got emotion. Yeah, the emotion of me wanting to be angry and switch it off. There's an emotional engine and a currency that runs through the film that I think works. So I'd invite people to check it out. Right. The thing is, right, because people will go, well, they'll either see it or they won't. More people are going to be watching this movie because it's available for free. If you ask them to pay for this, they absolutely nowhere near as, nowhere near enough. Nowhere near as many people that have watched it now would watch it if you had to pay for it. They just wouldn't. People are watching this just because it's free. It's the only reason they're watching it. It is garbage. And I guess
even at 24 million, that would translate to what? At roughly like $10 a film ticket? 24 million? Or no, 240
million? I don't know.
Yeah,
they're saying that they're saying that it's number one on Netflix worldwide or something like that.
I heard a lot of people checked out halfway through too.
Oh fucking hell! Did it ever? I watched half of it.
And it took a few days to get up to number one.
Oh god, it was so boring. It was so boring.
That's what most people are saying. It's boring, and they quit watching it. Dreadful. Which was the same problem the Justice League cut, Snyder cut had. What I was told.
I feel like an audience can only take so much, and because you're already at home, and because you're already watching a streaming service, and maybe keep your films shorter, because you're going to miss out on the people finishing your film because it's so darn long. You
got to keep them hanging on, right? That's the other thing too.
I mean, it's just easier to stop watching something and watch something better or different or whatever. I mean, eventually you'll find something good. You can go back and watch like reruns of Mad Men, or go check out like, I don't know, the House of Cards, right? I mean, there's just better stuff out there that you could like fill your time with. If you're going to spend that many hours, that's like 3 episodes of freaking House of Cards, and you'd be invested in a show. First of all, if you don't have enough story to fill 2 hours, you certainly don't have enough to fill 3 hours. And that's what Zach always seems to struggle with.
If you're already telling me that the 2 hour cut or whatever is boring, or whatever it is, 2.5 hour cut, then I can't imagine how fucking boring the 4 hour cut's gotta be, right? Like, I mean, and I just saw Oppenheimer not too long ago, and there's no action in Oppenheimer. But you know what it is? It's a very engaging movie for 3 hours, and I know there's probably a lot of people who would agree with me in that respect. Now, and I can't even be bothered to sit here and watch this damn movie for all the reasons that and I'm not going to go on some Zach rant. But at the end of the day, I'll leave it alone. It doesn't sound like this movie's boding very well. It took a huge dive on the Rotten Tomatoes viewer side of things. So the Snyder Bros haven't been able to keep it afloat above 75. It's already fallen to like 65 last I looked. So we'll see how it goes. It's just, I don't think anybody's going to be interested in the extra extended cut outside of that select group of people. Netflix has gone all in on this shit for some reason.
I think they really did.
I think they got conned.
Money to get with them.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, 24 million views compared to what does some of their other stuff get? I'm trying to think.
Well, quite. I mean, we see them on. Wednesday got insane viewership on the news.
That's what I was curious. Like, what in comparison? Like,
I have no idea. It was a lot.
Yeah,
it was a lot. To be fair. Yeah, Wednesday.
150 million. Yeah. So like, 24 million. Yeah. Sure.
So
yeah. That a big hit for Netflix. Yeah.
What did you say? Sorry, how much was it?
I saw 150 million households watched Wednesday.
Well,
24 million is what I saw for the number that watched supposedly for this weekend for Rebel Moon. But that doesn't tell you how many people actually watched the whole thing or not.
Good point.
Well, Wednesday season 1 had 252.
I was just looking at like the first few days or whatever, in comparison.
Yeah.
So total, I don't know, but yeah.
No, that's only a few days as well.
Yeah, oh, there you go. So that was even after what I looked for.
I don't know.
I think I looked up the first 4 days or whatever it was.
I don't.
Yeah.
Look, if it only inspired one of us to watch it during our holiday break, what does that tell you?
Oh God, it's the worst Christmas gift as well to myself. I really hate myself for watching that.
Mikey, you're a Snyder bro.
No, I am a recovering Snyderaholic, and I am now in treatment, and I am on the road to recovery.
Okay. All
I
right.
used to be a Snyder bro-ho.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. I thought we'd enjoy that, and we can shuffle on now to something equally as bad, actually, quite frankly. I know people will be surprised to say that. Oh, no, actually, we've got... hey, what's this? Someone starred this from Sci-Fi Quest. ChatGPT. Please rewrite my Star Wars script as a 300 Dune Warhammer Lord of the Rings Star Wars results. That is funny.
That's a good one.
Well, what's even funnier is from the synopsis, if you read it, it's not so much a Star Wars clone as it is a Battle Beyond the Stars clone, which was a Star Wars ripoff to begin with.
Think about how many times we heard that, Tom. I mean,
I know.
I'm like, of course, and I'm like, okay, but
I mean, it's arguably the best of the Star Wars clones, but
if I were gonna compliment Kathleen Kennedy on anything, it would be that she turned down this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, true.
Well, what did I say? How bad does it have to be that even Kathleen Kennedy said nope?
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad.
Because we knew it was going to have a Whammon who was the key to everything and all that, and that's the thing I noticed all these people posting is these videos of this little tiny chick kicking the shit out of these 250 to 300 pound men. But yeah.
Well, like I said, let's that was just something that sort of dropped in it.